Springfield has been a working-class dog for more than 3 decades. From music to movies and soap operas, he's done it all. He's put it all down on paper now in the revealing autobiography, Late, Late at Night. And we're thrilled to have Rick Springfield here with us today. Thanks so much for being here today, Rick. We just have to ask you, yesterday you pleaded not guilty to a DUI charge from May. Is there anything else you want to say about the incident?
There's a lot I'd love to say, but I can't say it.
Can't say
because I'm on,
Right. All right, so we'll talk.
I'll have a lot to say about it eventually, though.
Okay, great. Well, so we'll wait on that, but we'll talk about your book. I think a lot of people look at you and they think charmed life, fantastic performer. He's done it all, but yet he battles depression. Mm-hmm. It's hard for.
I just had lunch with Mr. D, who I refer to in the book, my depression. I make him a third person. So that I can, it's not just me moaning about being depressed. I'm actually having conversations with this person this entity who's been dogging me all my life. And I just had lunch with him. It was miserable.
It was miserable?
It was miserable.
You made him pick up the check?
No, I pay he travels first class. I pay for it. We dine at restaurants. But it's been difficult for sure. It's been I don't mean to downplay it, but I do treat it with a sense of humor in the book, and I try to in my life too. Because
you have such a charming style of writing, a sort of self-deprecating sense of humor that it makes me wonder: is that a way to help you deal a little bit with the?
Yeah. I think my humor is a way of dealing with my life, and because I've had I have had a lot of things happen in my life. I've had a pretty, exciting at times, damaging at times, frustrating life, and he's always been there,
Ever since you were a child?
No, Mr. D shows up in most people around puberty, is when you start looking in the mirror, and wondering about what the girls think about you, and all the hormones start bouncing around your system, and that's when he shows up.
Speaking of the girls, you were such an idol. You certainly had no shortage of girls. That must have been. That stoked your confidence, no? No.
I mean, that's a momentary thing, but honestly, there's a Buddha saying, even if you had a mountain of gold, you'd still want more, and it's the same, it's with everything, and it doesn't heal. Right. That's with the whole thing with what I say in the book. The whole thing with fame is that I thought it would heal me. I thought I would suddenly start liking myself if everybody liked me, but it doesn't work that way, But I wanted a long career, and I'm 35 years into it, so I'm feeling better about myself and not asking for outside stimulus and expecting outside stimulus to make me feel better. And it's a journey within that I'm still struggling with.
Working with. And you talk in your book about your wife, Barbara. Is it true she was the inspiration for many of your hits?
Yeah, she is. And it was difficult for me to write this book because she's a very private person, and there's nothing in there we haven't discussed.
Right.
But I said, I write the truth. I write about my life. That's what a writer does. And, more than half my songs are about her.
And certainly reading your book and everything you've gone through, all the people you've known, it's sort of like a pop culture litany. I mean, just from your record label boss, Robert Mendez, who was murdered by his 2 sons.
Jose,
to your relationship with Mel Gibson, and to
Elvis
turning down the lead in Baywatch, Eric.
Well, I didn't actually turn down. I was up for it.
Right.
Yeah. No, but I as I was writing it, at this point, having met Elvis is like kind of wow.
It is.
It's like, but back then it was just, oh, hi man, how you doing?
Right.
And it was great to reflect on a lot of things, and it actually did help me realize that my depression has actually also been part of my driver. I believe in yin yang. I believe that there are, as good as something is, then it comes with an equal backside, and as bad as everything is, it comes with something good too.
So if you're too happy and too content, then you're not driven to do anything.
I absolutely believe that, and I believe that a lot of my drive has been because I've been freaking miserable.
Well, I guess your audience, your fans, can have some appreciation for that.
Yeah, and I detail it in my songs, and a lot of the fans who have gone beyond Jesse's Girl and Don't Talk to Strangers and the hits know, because I talk about it I've talked about it in my work forever, in my songwriting, and I certainly talk about it in my book.
Now, you sort of blew up on General Hospital, and for a lot of people, that was the first time they came to know you on TV. What was all that initial brush with fame like for you?
It was a rocket ride. It was unreal. It was unrealistic, and anyone I've ever talked to about it you know, you get a little overblown by it. There's no way you can. You know, at some point you start going, hey, I'm pretty freaking cool. But you realize that you're not. You're still, you know.
Well, we think you are. But.
Well, that's the thing, is people put what they view you as. I do that. You know, I only understand it from the perspective of a fan, because I'm a fan of people.
Right.
And, you know, and I've met a lot of them, fortunately. And fortunately, most of them have been nice people. And, you know, I mean, once you lived a certain amount of life, you start to realize that, you know, you're the same as anybody else. You're no better and you're no worse than anybody else. And in fact, my issue is not that I'm better than anybody else. It's that I'm worse than everybody else, which is a tough thing to live with. But I like I said, it's the driver, and
You still love to make music?
I love writing. Yeah. Writing is the only when I meditate and when I write is the only time I have true peace.
And
or
by
a
writing,
third thing, but I can't mention it on television.
Oh, please, you can tell us.
Orgasm.
This is cable. We're allowed to talk. No.
Orgasm.
All right.
Complete peace.
So when you say writing, do you mean writing music, writing books?
Writing everything. I mean,
everything?
Writing this book. Writing. I'm working on scripts. I'm working on an idea for another book. My publisher, Stacy Creamer, who's amazing, and was the editor on my book, wants me to start writing novels, and that's what I thought I'd be before music took over. I thought I'd be a prose writer. You know? But the song took over and.
So we can see more books in the future.
Yeah, I hope so.
Great.
I mean, I'm writing a new record right now, and we're getting ready to do the 4th annual Rick Springfield and Friends Cruise, which will be from November, which is 5 days of partying on a boat with me and my band and a bunch of celebs, and it
sounds great.
Yeah, there's a lot to do, and writing is at my heart.
Well, we thank you for writing this book and sharing so many intimate details of your story, and we thank you for being with us today, Rick Springfield. And the book is called Late, Late at Night, Rick Springfield's